Dickens, we have found you. Oh, Mr. McCrone, come in, sir. Forgive the untidiness, I work most
An American fellow writer, Mr. Willis, has expressed a great desire to meet you.
Mr. Dickens, it's an honor to meet you, sir. I consider your sketches to be a great innovation in the newspaper world. In fact, I am daring to observe their style in my own poor efforts.
I only hope they bring you as much success, Mr. Willis.
Oh, gentlemen, I suggest we repair somewhere for oysters and a glass of champagne.
Oh, Crone, what an irresistible publisher you are. I, gentlemen, am alarmingly hungry. Fanny, what on earth are you doing here so late?
Charles' father has been taken off.
Is he ill?
Only with his usual complaint, debts.
That's another one, Fanny.
I am telling you, Charles. He's been arrested by Shaw and Maxwell.
One-down wine people, as he calls them.
The common undischargeable bankrupt, as I call him.
Oh, easy now, Fanny. Where is he?
Where else but in the sponging house?
Here we go. One more chorus of the same old song.
What are you going to do about it, Charles?
What am I going to do about it, Fanny? Why, raise the wind, of course. What else does a Dickens do in such temporary circumstances?
Oh, Charles, I hope you're not becoming as bad as he is.
But, Fanny, I only hope that I may prove as good at it.
Yes,
This is the house of George Hogarth, editor of the Evening Chronicle.
it is.
The office informs me that Mr. Hogarth is working at home today.
Yes.
In that case, my gal, would you be good enough to tell your master that Charles Dickens is calling on him?
I will, sir.
May I come in, my gal?
You may, sir.
Mr. Charles Pickens to see Mr. Hogarth.
Dickens?
Sorry, sir. Mr. Dahl's chickens. Kate, you all
Ah, Dickens, is it you?
Mr. Hogarth, sir. Forgive me for disturbing you at home, sir.
I'm pleased to see you. Girls, please, get out of here.
Oh, Papa, do let's stay. Who is he? I don't know. We must leave Mr. Docking to talk over his terribly important business with Father.
Good Lord, are you all Miss Hogarths?
I'm Georgina. I'm Helen. I'm Mary.
And I'm Catherine, sir.
Well, now that Mr. Dickens knows you all girls, please, disappear.
Oh,
One, two,
no,
and make some tea. I'm delighted to see you, Mr. Dickens. But, what brings you here, sir?
Well, I have a request to make, sir.
My dear fellow, anything, so long as it's not money.
Actually,
Say no more. I see it is money. I know the appearance of a young author in such a funds extremely well.
Well, since you mention it, Mr. Hogarth, an advance against my small contribution to the Evening Chronicle would be of immense value to me at the present time.
My dear fellow, I know exactly how you feel, but, well, financial matters are not really within my province.
Oh, of course, yes. I realize that you are too deeply involved in musicology, your reminiscences of Sir Walter Scott, to concern yourself with such matters. What I really wanted, Mr. Hogarth, was the benefit of your great experience, your advice, sir.
Advice is free, my boy. You may have any amount of advice.
Well, then, say I was to present to you several contributions in advance of copy date. I wonder, would you feel inclined to use your influence to encourage an advance? The smallest advance would be more than welcome.
Well, it would be most unusual. I mean, why should we require to hold so many of your contributions in advance of copy dates?
Well, there you see, sir, is the precise point. And most like your experience it is, sir, to have brought you to it at once.
What point was that, may I inquire?
Well, the point is, sir, that I'm under great pressure from several other papers and magazines to supply them with sketches. Now, while I myself would prefer to remain in my present close relationship with both the chronicles, well, I have, as I explained, this present emergency to meet.
Are you saying, Mr. Dickens, that the Evening Chronicle may lose your contributions if such an advance is not forthcoming?
Mr. Hogarth, sir, such a thought had not entered my mind. But now that you have formed it, sir, well, I...
Say no more, my boy. You've made your point extremely well. And I think I can assure you that any influence that I may have will be used to effectuate the advance that you require.
Thank you 1,000 times, Mr. Hogarth, sir.
Not so many thanks. The advance will, I assure you, be too small to justify them. Your work and determination intimate to me, Mr. Dickens, that you have the makings of a true professional author.
Oh, indeed, I hope so, Mr. Hogarth. I would take as my model Sir Walter Scott, your own fabled intellect.
Sir Walter would never have thanked you for such an intimation. He always saw himself as a gentleman who happened to write.
Ah, well, in that case, Mr. Hogarth, let me say that I propose to be a writer who happens to be a gentleman.
Very good, sir. And now, since it's too early for anything more interesting, perhaps you'll stay for tea. Catherine!
I would be delighted to take tea with you, sir, some other time. But as of this moment, I'm afraid I'm rather committed.
But, my dear fellow, you've only just arrived.
I would be delighted to, sir, some other time. And I must apologize for interrupting your great work on musical history. Many thanks, sir, and good day to you.
Oh, are you leaving so soon?
I regret that I must, but I will return very soon.
I hope you will, Mr. Dickens.
You have my name right at last.
I had it right at first. But I'm sometimes overwhelmed by an irresistible compulsion to make puns.
I suffer from the same disorder myself. We must make puns together.
I should like that.
Goodbye, then. Good day, sir.
Oh, Father is far away, and I really must put this tea tray down.
Allow me to ask you something.
Yes?
You don't entertain, I hope, a pet dog?
A dog? Oh, no, I detest the wretched, smelly little objects.
Perfect. Oh, that's perfect.
Has he gone so soon? He will be back before long. How nice that will be. Oh, will it indeed? Yes.
Well, Charles, it's your own concern, of course, but half your salary for the next month? How will you manage?
Dickens protects his own, Mr. Black.
How's that?
It's a family motto, sir. Thank you.
Hey, the receipt.
Of course. Drink up, Governor.
Oh, Charles.
Drink up, sir, I say.
You will be free of this old man of the sea one day, Charles. You will not always be asked to place in bed.
I hope that I shall, sir. Always. Remember, he found a genie in a bottle.
Did he? Damned if I ever did. Still, you're right, Charles. No point in brooding, is there? Best to drink up like a man, eh? God, I was thinking, if they put me in that damn sponging house again, they'll have to give me a lease on the wretched place. Well, you seem in better spirits yourself, my boy. Is it merely the pleasure of winning yet another battle for an old man's decayed honor? Well, I hope you have a better reason than that.
Things are going well enough generally, you know, Governor. I care nothing for the temporary embarrassments of life. The general movement is Onwards and upwards, I'm glad to say.
Oh, well, good. Good. Anything else,
Well, I've met some rather charming people.
Ah.
Family of George Hogarth, editor of the Evening Chronicles.
Oh. Has he got a great slew of daughters, by any chance?
4.
4? Oh, well. Onwards and upwards, eh? 4, indeed. Almost an audience.
He's ready for them as well. Oh. The Morning Chronicle, the Evening Chronicle, the Monthly Magazine, and now this. The devil drives that young fella.
Is it Mr. Dickens you're talking of?
Ah, he works like a demon, does that Dickens.
Oh!
What is it, girl?
There's a terrible face at the window. Oh, my gracious! Whoever is it? Oh, go away, you horrid person.
Afternoon! Oh, the only to sail your ship is your raging double bubble trick. As you haul away your anchor, perhaps these right young girls will thank you. As you leave them on the quayside and you kiss them quick.
What the devil was all that about?
Oh, I feel quite faint.
What a funny person.
Oh, he must be a beggar or something.
Probably wounded at the Battle of Trafalgar.
Still, what impudence.
I'll go.
I still feel quite faint. Oh, don't you think we should do something about it, Papa?
About what, Marion?
About that man who came in.
Dickens, what a surprise.
Oh, a pleasant one, I hope.
Oh, very pleasant. But you've just missed the most extraordinary thing, though.
What was that?
A funny old sailor jumped in, did a hornpipe, and then jumped out again.
No.
I think he was wounded at the Battle of Trafalgar.
Oh, Dickens, have some tea. This is too early for anything better. I'll just finish these notes here.
Good day to you, sir. How sorry I am to have missed your strange sailor.
Yes, it is a shame. Nevertheless, if you should run into the old chap, why don't you give him back this bit of his beard he seems to have forgotten?
Oh, Mr. Dickens, it's so nice to have you for tea.
To have tea with you, Miss Mary, is to be in heaven.
Dickens? Yeah. We just had a sailor in here. Most extraordinary character. It'd make a good subject for one of your articles in the...
Yes, indeed.
In the Morning Chronicle, or the Evening Chronicle, or the Monthly Magazine, or even Bells.
Yes. Someone mentioned tea.
I wonder you've time for tea in view of all your other commitments.
Time, Mr. Hogarth. I have all the time in the world, sir.
Tea, girls!
But I'm losing time. Now, what the devil is Cruikshank up to?
My dear fellow, we can hardly dictate delivery dates to George Cruikshank. After all, he is our most famous cartoonist.
That is why he's illustrating my book, Mr. McCrone. Now, his delays are wasting publication time, and he needs a touch of the spur. That is all I'm saying.
Well, I will do my best, of course. But Cruikshank is something of a law unto himself, and he is very busy.
And am I not very busy, writing sketches all night, dashing around England like a lunatic all day?
Now, about the title of the book. I was thinking we could call it Bubbles from the Brain of Buzz. What do you think?
Quite pointless. The subject is sketches by Buzz with cuts by Cruikshank.
Well, I hardly think you'd enjoy that, Billy.
Well, I must leave you to deal with that. I have to leave for Bristol.
But what about your meeting with Cruikshank?
I have nothing to say to him except this. His delays are wasting my time. Now, he may do what he likes with his own life, but neither he nor anyone else will ever waste mine.
As soon as Lord John Russell finishes speaking, you'll dash to Marlborough in the shade, transcribing your notes as you go.
I hope I can move so fast.
Oh, you will, Beard, you will. At Marlborough, a horse express will be waiting to rush the report to London.
Is that necessary?
Absolutely essential. The Times have only thought of having a shay and four all the way. A rider on horseback will beat them hollow.
I suppose you are right.
I'm absolutely certain I am. We shall beat the Times, Beard. We shall be the fastest reporters in the game.